and welcome to Passkey to Masculinity, where we talk about fresh news, politics, culture, and more fresh news. We're just doing a little mini episode today. Brandon's got a piece of news he's going to talk to us about, and we're going to kind of react and give our thoughts. So, Brandon, take it away.
Okay, as we've stated before, we live here in the great state of Iowa, and while mostly I love this state, I think it's beautiful and love the people in it, there's a lot of times where we do something dumb. A lot of that comes down to our governors. We tend to hire really dumb governors for really long periods of time. But this one isn't from the governor. This one comes to you from Cherokee County. They became the 31st county to approve themselves as Second Amendment sanctuary status. What that means, I'm not entirely sure. It sounds performative and empty to me, but the entire idea is that if, who knows, the boogeyman or somebody decides to try and take away their Second Amendment rights, they will say no.
I can explain exactly what this is. It's very simple. This is sort of similar to there were some states that were adopting anti-Sharia laws.
I remember that.
So the idea behind it is if if Congress passes a law stating that people all of a sudden can't have guns anymore, that county or locality or whatever, it was a county, right?
County, yeah.
Then that county guns will still be legal. So the law is sort of stupid in two ways, and Jim, knowing definitely more about law than I do, can probably expound on this a little bit. But the two ways it's stupid. The first way, it doesn't actually effectively do anything at all. It's like you just put on a piece of paper, I'm awesome, and pass that to the House. It doesn't mean anything. And if Congress ever did pass a law banning guns, the law that they passed would be immediately overturned by the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution, and so it would be immediately moot anyway. So I don't know, Jim, what do you have to say about it?
So my understanding is the main thrust of it is kind of like the sanctuary cities that it essentially passed resolutions that their law enforcement not cooperate with federal authorities trying to assert federal immigration law. And that's what the counties here, from what I understand, are trying to do. They're saying the federal government can and the state can enforce whatever they want to in the county, but the county government employees are not going to enforce any laws that someone, I'm not sure who, decides violates Second Amendment rights.
Presumably if the UN decides to come into the United States and confiscate all our guns, because that's a realistic fear.
Well, and every time we have a Democrat president, they get this idea that they're going to come for their guns, and it's never happened, and yet the talking point still works every time.
And sales and firearms shoot up.
Yep.
That we have, even more than one gun per person in the country. I don't
Does
know. It like 2 now? I forget. It's a lot.
It's 1.25 is my understanding.
Does it actually affect any regulations?
It doesn't affect any regulations whatsoever. And even if it did, the federal regulations would overrule it and it would be moot. It is a hood ornament. It is a hood ornament law. It's just something they put out there to be like, we like this thing. And it's like, I don't know why I'm doing a Southern accent. They're here in Iowa. They sound exactly like we sound.
On the subject,
I apologize to our Southern listeners because, they sound like us. Sorry, Kim, go ahead.
Realistically, I don't see any time, especially in our lifetimes, of getting rid of guns. So my focus when the debate comes up is about regulation. I know several people in my family, friends, and stuff like that have guns, that are pro-gun. Not going to take my guns, and that's fine. Okay, but let's negotiate. Because do you really need, a weapon that looks like it came off a video game and fires, rounds? You got a 30-round magazine. What are you shooting at that you need 30 rounds? It must
I
be
sh-
a really big deer.
I should state that we will be doing a gun episode. I think we're kind of working our way up to that. Because I doubt the four of us even entirely agree on gun policy. I think there's probably disagreement up here. I don't want to get too deep into that policy because that's something that our gun episode will not be a short episode. I'll tell you that.
That's good. Then I'll keep my powder dry.
Yes, yes.
Also,
Yeah, I
wanna
won't go
know-
shooting off the mouth
Oh, exactly. Also, I want to know why I can't have a tank,
or a nuclear weapon.
right?
Hand grenade.
What?
I don't know.
We're drawing lines somewhere? Unacceptable.
Brandon, do you have any final thoughts?
No, it's just one of these same things. It's a war on Christmas nonsense. It's like if you said find a transcript of any national leader in the Democratic Party who's ever said anything about taking everyone's guns or removing the Second Amendment or what have you, you couldn't do it.
I mean, except for me, but I'm definitely not a leader.
Speaking of war on Christmas, I really want to know, am I still supposed to be wetting my bed over MS-13 and Obamacare?
Yes.
No, not yet. Not till at least like October of this year.
Okay.
And
Just
then
checking.
yes,
Gotta
entirely.
wait for the midterms.
Jim, do you have any final thoughts on this little topic?
My final thought is I just can't even keep up with what is legal in this country anymore. Like, I have no idea. We used to go to Texas a lot because my wife's family was from Texas, and they did all this crazy shit like 10 years before Iowa, and I thought it was outrageous. And now it's like everyday stuff, like almost
it's here.
everywhere. Right.
All right, Kale. Any final
My
thoughts on
final
this topic?
thought is I want to point out a silly technicality. It's the right to bear arms. Everybody just automatically associates that with firearms, So you hear stories about people walking into a Walmart with an AR-15 strapped to their back, and that's okay. But I walk in there with a chainsaw strapped to my back and a sword hanging off my hip, and suddenly I'm a psycho. Okay,
You can't just walk around carrying my scimitar.
Right. Especially if you have the wrong level of melatonin in your skin.
That's very
Definitely.
true. My last thought would be, and this is sort of more on like a legislative thing. Really keep an eye out on the laws that your legislature is passing. See if the laws they're passing are solving actual problems that exist in the world, or just fake problems that exist in the mind of people that are just paranoid and crazy. And if they're passing laws that are solving those, they're not actually solving real problems, and they're not actually real legislatures. But that's what we have to on this. We're going to try to do a couple more of these. This is going to be kind of an irregular segment. We'll maybe do it once a week, maybe do it once every couple weeks, kind of see what comes up. But thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and have a good drink. Have a good day.